Welcome to Wellness 7000.
We're here to cut through the noise and really get to the heart of things. Today, we're tackling something huge, something everyone feels, managing stress and anxiety. Life feels overwhelming a lot of the time, doesn't it? Like you're just constantly wading through demands. But what if there were ways, actual strategies to, hit pause on that stress response? And importantly, ways that don't just rely on medication. That's what we're digging into today using the sources you sent over.
Yeah, and it's incredibly relevant. The scale is just staggering. Think about this. Back in 2019, almost a billion people, 970 million, were living with some kind of mental disorder globally. Anxiety and depression are, well, the most common ones. And the sources really hammer this home. Mental health isn't separate. It's absolutely fundamental to our overall health and well-being.
Exactly. So this isn't just about feeling a bit less stressed. It's actually about unlocking our potential, right? Being able to cope better, realize what we're capable of, maybe even contribute more to our communities. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. What is stress? Why do we even have this reaction?
That's the core question, isn't it? Harvard Health puts it simply. It's a natural response. Your body reacting to emotional or physical pressure. And in small bursts, it's actually helpful. Sharpens focus, gets you ready for a challenge, like that buzz before a big presentation.
Ah, okay. So a little bit is good.
A little bit, yes. But the problem comes when it's constant or just overwhelming. That's when it really starts to damage your physical and mental health.
Right. Chronic stress. That's the real villain here. So what's happening inside us biologically when we feel that sudden stress hit, that jolt?
Okay, this is where Huberman gets into the fascinating mechanics. Stress is basically a system designed to mobilize other systems all over the brain and body. In that acute moment, your sympathetic chain ganglia, think of them like a ladder of neurons from your neck down, they activate super fast, like dominoes falling.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and this activation releases acetylcholine, which then tells your adrenal glands sitting right on top of your kidneys to pump out epinephrine.
Epinephrine, this
That-
adrenaline.
Well, that's adrenaline, exactly.
Yeah. So the classic fight or flight. What does the adrenaline actually do then? What are the immediate effects?
Oh, they're very physical. Blood gets rushed to your big muscles, think legs, arms, getting you ready to, well, run or fight. Your heart speeds up. And other things your body sees as non-essential in a crisis, like digestion or reproduction. They get suppressed, put on hold.
Because you don't need to digest lunch if you're running from a lion, basically.
Precisely. The whole setup is designed to make you move, take action. And that's why, when you feel stressed, but you're just sitting at your desk, you get that agitated, restless feeling. Your body is primed for action, but there's nowhere for it to go.
That makes so much sense. It's a physical readiness. But our modern stressors often don't require physical escape. So we're left with this agitation.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the hopeful part, right? If it's a hardwired biological thing,
Mm-hmm.
then there must be hardwired ways to control it too. We're not just victims of our biology here. So what's the fastest way? If you're feeling overwhelmed right now, what can you do yourself?
The physiological sigh. It's probably the quickest, most direct tool you have. And it works by tapping directly into that connection between your heart and your brain.
Okay, tell me more. How does a sigh actually calm us down physiologically?
It's pretty neat, actually. It's all about breathing mechanics and heart rate. When you inhale deeply, your diaphragm pulls down, your chest expands,
Right.
and your heart literally gets a bit bigger in that space. This makes blood flow through it a bit slower for a moment. There's a little cluster of cells in your heart, the sinoatrial node, that acts like a sensor. It detects this slower flow and tells the brain, speed up the heart.
Okay, so inhaling speeds it up. What about exhaling?
Exactly the opposite. You exhale, diaphragm moves up, heart gets a bit smaller in that space, blood flows faster through it. The sinoatrial node detects that faster flow, signals the brain again, and this time the brain activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system, which tells the heart to slow down.
Wow. So the exhale is key for calming. How is the physiological sigh different from just sighing?
Good question. The physiological sigh is specific. It's a double inhale through the nose, followed by a long, slow exhale, usually through the mouth. That double inhale is crucial. You see, under stress, tiny little air sacs in your lungs, the alveoli, can collapse.
Really?
Yeah. And that makes it harder to get rid of carbon dioxide, which can actually increase feelings of agitation. So the double inhale helps pop those little sacs back open, Then the long, slow exhale efficiently dumps that excess CO2, triggering that calming response we just talked about.
That is genuinely brilliant. It's so simple, something you can do anywhere. So practically speaking, just 1 to 3 of these sighs, that can really make a difference quickly.
Almost immediately in terms of how you feel. Your actual heart rate might take, say, 20 or 30 seconds to fully come down, but the subjective sense of calm can be much faster. And yeah, the diaphragm is a muscle you control voluntarily, so you can do this anytime, anywhere. Nobody even needs to know.
Okay, that's a fantastic immediate tool. But what about stress that lasts longer, days, weeks, or just building general resilience?
Right, we need to think about different time scales. Huberman talks about short, medium, and long-term stress. And maybe surprisingly, short-term stress isn't always bad. It could actually be good for you in certain ways. It can prime your immune system, sharpen your thinking, basically get your system ready to fight back.
Get ready to fight back against what exactly? How can we use short-term stress beneficially?
Well, one fascinating way is through deliberate hyperventilation. Think Wim Hof breathing, or sometimes it's called Tumo breathing or a superoxygenation.
Okay, hyperventilating on purpose sounds intense.
It is a bit. The idea is you do about 25 or 30 rapid, deep inhales and exhales. This actually causes a short, sharp release of adrenaline. You're essentially mimicking a stress response, but in a controlled way. And that burst of adrenaline can help your body fight off infections. There was this pretty amazing study where people did this breathing and were then injected with an endotoxin, something that normally makes you feel quite sick, feverish. And the group that did the breathing had massively reduced symptoms, or sometimes none at all. It suggests you can consciously influence your immune response through breath.
That is remarkable, using the stress response to boost immunity. But I'm guessing there are safety warnings.
Oh, absolutely. Big ones. Never, ever do this kind of breathing near water. People can faint. And definitely talk to your doctor before trying it, especially if you have any lung issues or eye pressure concerns like glaucoma. It's powerful stuff.
Got it. Safety first.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so that's short term. What about that medium-term stress? The stuff that grinds you down over days or weeks? How do we build up our tolerance, our capacity?
This is where we talk about raising your stress threshold, making yourself more resilient. And one technique for this is what Huberman calls mind-body dissociation.
Dissociation. Sounds a bit out there.
Maybe the name is a bit dramatic, but the concept is practical. You deliberately put yourself in a situation that spikes your adrenaline. Think a really cold shower, an ice bath, maybe even intense exercise like sprints.
Okay, uncomfortable but doable. Then what?
While your body is freaking out, basically heart pounding, feeling that adrenaline rush, you consciously work to keep your mind calm. And a key trick here involves your vision. When you're stressed, your pupils dilate, you get tunnel vision, right? Focused on the threat.
Yeah.
So you deliberately do the opposite. Widen your gaze. Try to take in the whole room, panoramic vision. This actually activates a specific circuit in your brainstem that promotes calmness.
So, body stressed, mind calm. You're teaching yourself to handle the physical sensations without the mental panic.
Exactly. You're learning to be comfortable, or at least functional, in a state of high physical activation. If you practice this regularly, say once a week, you gradually increase your stress threshold. Situations that used to feel overwhelming start to feel more manageable.
That's like mental resilience training using physical stress.
Interesting. But let's be clear. While short-term stress might have upsides, and we can train for medium-term, long-term chronic stress is just plain bad news, right? Unequivocally bad. Yeah. Constant high adrenaline, poor sleep. It wears you down, increases risk for serious things like heart disease, suppresses the immune system long-term. It's damaging.
So, for tackling that long-term stuff, what are the big foundational things we need, beyond the immediate hacks and the resilience training?
Well, aside from the obvious pillars, diet, exercise, sleep, which we absolutely need to mention, one of the most powerful, maybe underestimated tools, is social connection.
Social connection. How does hanging out with friends help fight chronic stress on a biological level?
It's neurochemical. Genuine social connection, feeling trust, recognizing others. This releases serotonin. Serotonin isn't just a happy chemical. It's a neuromodulator that fosters feelings of well-being, contentment, even bliss. It helps buffer the brain against the negative effects of chronic stress, supports the immune system, even aids neural repair.
So investing in relationships, friends, family, partners, even pets, or just finding connection with things you enjoy, that's a direct investment in your long-term stress defense.
Absolutely. It takes effort, sure, but the payoff in terms of resilience is huge. It counteracts that withering effect stress can have.
And of course, we have to touch on those fundamentals. Diet, exercise, sleep. We hear it all the time. But the sources really emphasize they're non-negotiable for stress management. Like Medical News Today and Harvard Health both point to how crucial they are.
They really are foundational. Poor sleep, for example, directly messes with your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that helps you regulate emotions. So less sleep means you're less equipped to handle even minor daily stresses. And diet plays a big role too. Medical News Today points out a few things. Reducing caffeine is often recommended. It's a stimulant. It can heighten anxiety, especially if you drink a lot.
Makes sense.
Less alcohol, too. People often use it to cope, but it can actually worsen anxiety in the long run. Reducing it often helps. They also suggest maybe keeping a food log, seeing if anything triggers your anxiety. Some research links high saturated fat and added sugar intake to higher anxiety in older adults, though it's more correlation than proven cause right now. Still, being aware is good.
So paying attention to what you consume really matters for your mental state. What about supplements? Sometimes life is just extra tough. Are there things that can help bridge the gap?
Supplements can be helpful for some people in specific situations. Huberman discusses a few. Melatonin, for instance, helps with sleep onset.
Right, lots of people take that.
But he actually doesn't recommend supplementing it. He points out typical doses are way too high compared to what the body naturally produces, and there are concerns about potential effects on reproductive hormones.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so maybe not melatonin. What else?
L-theanine is one he mentions more positively, around 100-200 milligrams before you sleep. It seems to increase GABA, a calming neurotransmitter, helps quiet the mind. Several studies show it has a decent effect on reducing stress levels. And then there's ashwagandha. It's an adaptogen known for lowering anxiety and cortisol, that main stress hormone. Huberman suggests using it strategically during particularly stressful periods rather than all the time, just to help buffer against those cortisol spikes.
So targeted use, not necessarily an everyday thing. That's helpful context.
Yeah.
Now, moving beyond pills and potions, what about practices that combine mind and body, movement and mindfulness together?
Yes, these offer a kind of double benefit. Harvard Health lists several great examples. Qigong is one. It's an ancient Chinese practice blending slow, gentle movements, breathing, and meditation. The idea is to balance your Qi, or vital energy. Studies show it can lower blood pressure, pulse rate, and generally promote calm, plus improve balance and flexibility.
Sounds very gentle and flowing.
It is. Then you have rhythmic activities, which can be more active, like walking, jogging, swimming, cycling. The key here is the rhythm. Focus on rhythmic breathing, maybe repeat a calming word or phrase, and just gently bring your mind back when it wanders. The repetition itself is meditative.
Like a moving meditation.
Exactly. A mindful walk is a perfect example. You sync your breath with your steps, notice the sensations in your body, then expand awareness outward, sights, sounds, smells. A slow walk can center you, a brisker one can calm and energize. Taichi is another fantastic one, known for its flowing postures. Great for stress, balance, coordination, especially for older adults. Plus, doing it in a group adds that social connection benefit. And yoga, of course, widely recognized as a stress buster, improves physical health, mental well-being, sleep quality. It's particularly helpful for people managing chronic illness.
It really underscores that mind-body link, doesn't it?
Right.
These aren't just physical exercises. And what about more formal therapies, like talk therapy?
Absolutely essential to mention. Psychotherapy is highly effective. Medical News Today references the American Psychological Association, stating it's often more effective than medication alone for anxiety. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is a common type. It helps you identify those negative thought patterns and behaviors that fuel anxiety and learn new ways to cope.
So it gives you practical tools.
Yes, and the sources also mention other complementary approaches. Massage, acupuncture. A 2018 review suggested acupuncture might help ease anxiety symptoms for some chiropractic care. There are also newer things like transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS, which uses magnetic fields to influence brain activity.
Lots of options out there.
Yeah,
Which reinforces the point that it's about finding what works for you.
definitely. And again, the crucial reminder, always, always talk to a doctor or qualified health professional before starting new treatments or changing existing ones, especially medication. That's non-negotiable.
Absolutely. Okay, let's zoom out one last time. We touched on social connection, but there's an even broader perspective from someone called Joanna Macy, whose obituary offered some really deep insights. She talked about our personal anxieties often being linked to, well, the state of the world.
Yes, Joanna Macy was quite remarkable. A scholar of Buddhism, systems thinking, deep ecology. She developed these workshops, initially focused on nuclear anxiety during the Cold War, later adapted for the climate crisis. She called it despair and empowerment work. Her core idea was that our pain for the world is natural, given our interconnectedness. She drew heavily on systems thinking, seeing the world not as separate parts, but as a living, interconnected system and deep ecology, which views humans as intrinsically part of that larger web of life.
So she didn't see despair about world problems as something to just suppress.
Quite the opposite. She developed a process called the work that reconnects, often visualized as a spiral with 4 stages. It starts with gratitude, grounding yourself in appreciation for life and the world. Then, crucially, honoring our pain for the world, allowing feelings of despair, anger, fear about global issues to surface. Macy believed that refusing to feel this pain takes a huge toll, drains our energy.
That's counterintuitive.
Wow.
We usually try to avoid pain.
Right. But she argued that acknowledging it, sharing it, can actually forge deep, compassionate connections with others and free up energy. The 3rd stage is seeing with new eyes, exploring new perspectives, understanding our deep interconnectedness. And finally, going forth, which is about finding your role, committing to action, participating in what she called the great turning, the shift towards a life-sustaining society.
So moving from personal despair through connection to positive action.
Yeah.
She saw the root of crises like climate change as spiritual and psychological. A faulty view of the world?
Exactly. A view that sees us as separate, isolated individuals rather than part of a larger whole. By shifting that view, by understanding our interconnectedness, she believed we could transform that potentially paralyzing despair into motivation for positive change. It reframes our personal struggle within a much larger shared context.
Wow. That has a whole other dimension to managing anxiety, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not just about individual coping, but potentially about collective transformation too. What a journey we've taken today, from the quick fix of the physiological sigh to building resilience with things like cold showers, the absolute necessity of social connection, and those lifestyle basics, the power of mind-body practices like Qigong and Tai Chi, and now this profound framework from Joanna Macy. It's clear managing stress is, well, it's multifaceted. There are so many tools and perspectives.
There really are. And just to reiterate that crucial point, if anxiety is persistent, significantly impacting your life, or if you're thinking about medication or therapy changes, please talk to a medical professional. Get that expert guidance tailored to you.
Definitely. So as we finish, here's something to think about, drawing from Macy's work. If refusing to feel our pain for the world actually drains our energy, what might happen if we allowed ourselves to feel it? If we acknowledged it, connected with others over it, and grounded ourselves in gratitude? Could channeling that shared pain actually unlock new energy, not just for finding personal calm, but for taking positive action in the world? Something to consider.
Thanks for joining me on Wellness 7000.